You said yourself Israel is the liberal democracy in the region. What responsibility does Israel have as that democracy to ensure that civilians are not starving during the prosecution of Israel's war aims?
But there you go again. You keep on saying that civilians are starving. That is not the case. That's simply not the case on the ground.
So you reject everything that we're hearing from the UN and aid organizations.
Is that a big surprise? Do you know that the UN Human Rights Committee has been led by Iran? I mean, these international institutions, everyone knows they're a sham. And instead of focusing on a genocidal regime that wants to wipe out Israel, we had nothing that we wanted to hurt the Gazans. They started this war by a massacre. We
Hamas
bend over
started the war, not Gazans?
to prevent Let me finish. We bend over backward to prevent unnecessary deaths of Gazans. The problem is that Hamas uses hospitals and schools and homes as a terror base, and we're fighting this crazy situation. And what now the ICC is doing, it's giving backwind to the worst terror regimes in the world. And make no mistake, this is a war for everyone, because if we do not defeat the radical jihadi Islam, it's going to hit Washington, D.C. and London and Paris, and in fact it has already. So this is a war that we're fighting against terror organizations, and we expect the world to back the liberal democracy and not back the genocidal regime.
Let me ask you this, Mr. Bennett, because I saw on X you also wrote, all Israelis left and right stand behind the war whose goals are to release the kidnapped Israelis, demolish Hamas, and restore security to Israel. We have spoken to a number of family members of hostages who say they reject that. They believe that the Prime Minister has failed to secure the release of the hostages just to protect his own political future. Do you agree with that assessment?
Well, I'll say this. All Israelis left and right are very angry about this ICC ruling. And, you know, I'm no big supporter of Prime Minister Netanyahu, not a supporter of his government, but this warrant is not against the Prime Minister. It's against the state of Israel, and it's trying to tie our hands while we're trying to fight terror. Regarding your question, yeah, there are meaningful debates in Israel regarding the prosecution of the war. For example, I think we should have done it much more quickly and more intensively in order to get the results. But those are tactical disagreements that, like in any democracy.